Good evening to this somewhat different parents' evening that we undertake to do for once in a very virtual way at a distance. The reasons for this have been communicated to you in the course of this afternoon. So I will in this video present you all the slides and information that I wanted to communicate to you this evening. And considering that this happens at a distance, the teachers of your children will contact you as possible to fix either a new meeting time or convene with you on a personal interview, be it in school or at a distance via video conference. So they will contact you and you can fix that meeting together with them. Well, the first slide I actually wanted to show you this evening is exactly about COVID. It's a repetition of the three cases that were considered by the Ministry of Education. The first case being the one of one single case in a class, in which case there will be backtracing measures from the Ministries of Health and Education. That's what we as a school did in the course of this afternoon. There will be the obligation to wear masks in the classroom, so everywhere during 5 days. The class will be isolated in the classroom for 5 days, which means no sports, no classes, no mixed classes. Lunch will be served inside the classroom, and whenever the class will go outside for a break, then this will happen at a time when there will be no other children on the playgrounds. It all ends once you got the news from the Ministry of Health, once you have passed the test, which we hope will be negative, and there will be no quarantine measures. However, you know the recommendations by the Ministry of Health go in the direction that you should not send your children to sports clubs in the course of this measure. The second figure is the one of several cases inside class. We are talking about backtracing measures as well in this figure, in which the class will be in quarantine, so children will stay at home. Parents will have the possibility to opt for a social holiday, to be at home with them. Distance learning will be assured in the same way as we did in springtime, and this figure also ends once there has been a testing, which again we hope, if this should happen, will be negative. The final figure is the one of a chain of infection inside the school, in which case there will be specific measures to be decided between the school and the Ministry of Education. There will be backtracing as well, and the classes that have been identified will be put into quarantine as well in this figure. If we talk about security, I would like also to address that matter inside the buses. So security means that I really want you to tell your children to stay on their seats, remain seated, and have their seatbelts fastened. So please repeat to them that they should behave inside the bus in the same manner as they do in your private cars. And not only in these times where we have that one positive case, but in general, as long as the sanitary situation doesn't improve, please also repeat to your children that they should wear their mask inside the bus. Thank you. Now let's come to a more administrative and pedagogical aspect, which is the one of the activities and supervisions during lunch break. There the situation varies between the P1s and P2s on one side and the P3s on the other ones. The P1s and P2s start their lunch break at 12:15. Between 12:15 and 13 they can opt for SEA activities and they have lunch. Between 13 and 13:45 they may follow either SEA activities or school activities, so there's a bunch of choices they can opt from. And finally, between 13:45 and 14 there will be supervision by SEA personnel who will prepare them for the afternoon classes. The P3s start their lunch break already at 12 o'clock. Between 12 and 13 they can follow SEA activities and have lunch. Between 13 and 13:45 there will be school activities, and these are mandatory because they are part of the official program. The courses we have programmed for these times will be composed of several options that they can choose from. And finally, between 13:45 and 16, the afternoon classes will take place. Maybe one slight precision for Wednesday, because there from 13 to 14:30 the European hours will take place, and they are also part of the official curriculum that we follow in our international school. Now, a few various aspects that I also wanted to address. You might have asked yourselves if there will be swimming classes this year. Yes, there will be, and we plan to start with them after the All Saints holiday. Each class in primary will also follow philosophical workshops again this year. In general, there will be 10 workshops per year and per class. I would like to encourage you to have or to always have a close look at the agenda of your child in order to get all the news that might have been penciled in by the teachers of your children. And feel free also to use the agenda to give feedback and ask all the questions or do all the suggestions and observations that you want to communicate to the teachers. If we talk about Dalton times, so times where your children will be prepared and will work in an autonomous way, these are times that will be developed in the course of the years, so there will be more and more of these times the more your children get acquainted with that system, and so it's a kind of progressive autonomy that we're trying to inspire in order to prepare them, well, basically not only for secondary classes, but to prepare them for a reflexive approach towards their learning. And finally, in P3 we will start to progressively introduce the iPads and the main programs that your children will be using during their school times and well beyond that. So there again, we're not putting them before an iPad and push on the button. It's really a progressive introduction in order to prepare them, well, as I said before, not only for secondary classes, but also for the rest of the life. Then I want to make some publicity for the parents' representatives. As a school, we need you as parents representatives, to communicate with us, to communicate your ideas, to communicate your suggestions, your questions. And so far there is a fair group of parents representatives doing a very good job, and I would like to encourage you, especially the parents of the P1s who are new to our school, I would like to encourage you to join the parents representatives. Feel free to contact them. The email address is cpp at eimlb.lu. Feel free as well to ask them about next week's General Assembly, which is supposed to take place on Wednesday, 28th of October at the EIMLB. There is one big work that we still have to finish, which is the one on the school charter. We started our joint work on this piece in October last year. We managed to work during 3 workshops in a joint way, so there were learners from the secondary, there were parents, and there were teachers and school personnel working jointly on developing these 5 principles that we want to put at the heart of our community. These are the 5 principles we agreed on all sides, and the work that was started in the last workshop was to give explanations what we exactly understand by these principles and by what means we plan or are already putting these principles into reality. For the moment, there is a beta version of the school charter, and since at this time it's probably not a good idea to do another joint workshop, we plan to give each representatives group that beta version to work on their side. So the school parliaments of the learners will work on it, the parents' representatives will work on it, and the teachers' representatives will work on it. The plan is that we have something finalized for the start of next calendar year. Hopefully the situation will have improved by then, and it would really be nice if we could finish and launch the finalized school charter in a joint event where we could really finalize it well, yes, and inspire life into this charter and into our school community. Well, that's all for this evening. As I said before, the teachers of your children will contact you to arrange for probably for individual meetings in the course of the next 2 weeks, or at the latest shortly after the next holidays, which would start already in 10 days. Well, so thank you for your time, and hope to see you soon in good health at school again. Bye bye.